Hey Mike, what's this right here?
Well, this is a term paper that I wrote when I was in college. I had a situation where I had by the time I got to college, I'd already spent about 15 years researching the abominable snowman and things of that ilk, including Sasquatch. So when I got to the campus, the first thing I did was run into the library and go deep into the stacks, because this was at Stanford, and they have a pretty damn nice library there. And down in the microfilm, I was finding all these great articles about the Yeti and about all the different climbers who had had experiences, and some of the earliest talk about mystery primates in mountainous regions. So I decided that I wanted to study this seriously, so I put together a course of study in paleoanthropology and physical anthropology. I took the list of courses that I wanted to take to the registrar and showed them to him and said, if I were to take these classes, what would it get me? And he said, well, you would get a degree in physical anthropology. And I said, well, terrific, because I want to take all these courses because they fit in with my Bigfoot studies. Now, I didn't tell him that, but that's what I had in mind. So I took, one of the first classes I took was a physical anthropology class, and one of the requirements was to write a paper. And so you, of course, had to tell the professor what you were going to write about and get his approval. And when I told him I wanted to write about the abominable snowman and Sasquatch mystery primates, he just about had a cow. There's no way that you're going to write about that. You write about that, I'm going to flunk you. Well, we argued. Finally, he said, I'll tell you what, if you bring me a bibliography that has something besides True Magazine or Argosy, I'll let you write the paper. He figured he had me there. Well, I was there within a day with this huge bibliography that included the Journal of Physical Anthropology, Nature, Science Magazine. And what's more, I had a friend there at Stanford who was in the graduate department. She was several years ahead of me, and she was an anthropology student. And she told me that my professor was actually taught largely by another famous anthropologist named Carlton Kuhn. And interestingly enough, Carlton Kuhn has actually gone on record stating that he believed it was quite likely that the Yeti was real and that the abominable snowman did indeed exist. So, of course, I quoted him several times in the paper. But I want to show you the interesting thing about this. In the front, the professor made a little comment here. He gave me a C, by the way, and a C minus, I guess it is. He said, "I don't think you've been able to make a case. This is still in the realm of UFOs," is the comment. Now, what's interesting is I was, with this paper, I was attempting to show that there was enough corollary and various kinds of physical evidence to warrant further study. I wasn't trying to prove in the paper they existed. That would be pretty difficult to do. All I was trying to show that it was worthy of further study. So the funny part of it is, when he made this remark about it being not worthy of study, but it was in the realm of UFOs, this shows his ignorance. Because if you'll take a look at this is a document produced by Congress, and this was published in 1968. That's a year after my paper was written. And of course, what was published here was going on during the time that I was writing this paper. And what this shows is that they were studying UFOs in Congress. They had congressional committees that were talking about it, and also they were discussing this in the UN at that time. So I would suggest that my professor at Stanford was not only ignorant about Bigfoot and about the abominable snowman, but he was equally ignorant about UFO studies.